Hello, Assalamu alaikum student. Welcome with the second video of the series. इस वीडियो में we are going to talk about the anterior triangle of the neck. So as I have discussed in previous video that this is sternocleidomastoid muscle. Anterior to this muscle we have got anterior triangle of the neck. So what exactly are the borders of the anterior triangle of the neck we are going to see. uh, Posteriorly, anterior triangle of the neck is bounded by the anterior border of the sternocleidomastoid. So this is sternocleidomastoid muscle, its anterior border. Anterior to this we have got anterior triangle. So triangle's posterior boundary would be found by this border, and superiorly triangle is bounded by the superiorly bounded by the inferior border of the base of the mandible or mandible till angle of the mandible, and from angle of the mandible an imaginary line till the mastoid process. So this is superior border of the or base of the triangle, and in its medially it is bounded by a line bisecting the neck into two equal halves. Here from the base of the skull, mandible, it starts, then hyoid bone, then it divides the here. In this next diagram we are going to discuss about it. So this is actually anterior triangle. This is sternocleidomastoid muscle. Its anterior border is forming the posterior boundary of the anterior triangle, and superiorly it is bounded by the base of the mandible, and in midline there is an imaginary line which starts at the symphysis mentae, then hyoid bone, then it bisects the neck into two equal and geometrical halves or mirror image. The term bisect is geometrical term. Most of you familiar with the term as any geometrical shape which is when divided into two equal and same uh, mirror images of each other is called bisection. So here it is the vertical imaginary line which bisects the triangle. It is anterior border of the triangle, and when we have got superior border of the triangle, then we have got posterior border of the triangle is formed by this your sternocleidomastoid anterior border. And apex is directed downward towards the suprasternal notch, and base is upward, whereas in case of posterior triangle it was opposite. Base was downward by clavicle and apex is upward. So for further details, these triangles have been further divided. Anterior triangle is divided into four triangles. Number one is submental triangle, submandibular triangle, carotid triangle, then muscular triangle. Before going into the details of these triangles or these structures, I would like to give you a clue or better understanding of certain muscles. I guess this video is going to be longer, so instead of talking about these four triangles in this same video, I would rather prefer to make another video for the boundaries of these triangles: submental triangle, submandibular triangle, carotid triangle, and muscular triangle. These triangles are the further divisions of the anterior triangle. And for this video, what I'm going to do, I'm going to explain certain muscles which will help you in understanding these triangles. So again, in this diagram here you can see submental triangle shown in green, and orange is submandibular triangle or digastric triangle. Then in pink it is shown carotid triangle. Then in blue here shown the muscular triangle. So anterior, and this mid black dotted broken line is that initial or imaginary line which bisects the neck into two. So this is the medial boundary of the anterior triangle. This is lateral boundary of anterior triangle, which is formed by the anterior border of the sternocleidomastoid muscle, and superiorly it is bounded by the base of the mandible. So this is our main anterior triangle, which has been further divided into triangle, submental triangle, submandibular triangle, carotid triangle, and muscular triangle. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do into the details of certain structures which will help you understand the concept about these triangles in my next video. So this is hyoid bone. It is very important bone. There it has got body. Here you can see it has got greater cornu. Here it has got lesser cornu. Body connects to the greater cornu, and where this connection, there is a connection, from there rises the lesser cornu. These are horn-like structures, horn-like structures. These are called cornus as well as horns. So anterior surface, and then it would be having posterior surface, then superior border of the hyoid bone, and then we have got inferior border of the hyoid bone. So this is hyoid bone. Hyoid, Hyoid. OID, wherever it comes, it means looks like, and hyoid means U-shaped, epsilon like U-shaped. Our next structure which I am going to explain is digastric muscle. And this description is for purpose of understanding the triangles. This is digastric muscle. Di means two, gastric means bellies. This muscle is just like, same like omohyoid muscle. It has got anterior belly, and it has got posterior belly, and it has got intermediate tendon. And this tendon is being looped by a fibrous loop for intermediate tendon here, looped by pretracheal fascia deep layer, and it is anchored to the hyoid bone. Now you are looking at this structure from lateral aspect. This is lateral aspect of the hyoid bone. This is body, this is greater horn or cornu. And posterior belly arises from the digastric notch medial to this mastoid process of the temporal bone, and anterior belly is attached onto the digastric fossa, which is a slight depression onto the near the inferior border on the inner aspect of the this mandible bone, and then intermediate tendon. So whenever posterior belly contracts, it is going to pull the anterior belly. As a result, this intermediate tendon will move posteriorly within this loop. So when anterior belly will, so intermediate tendon is going to move anterior and posterior to and fro, just like a swing within this loop, anterior belly. So as a result, this bone, which is called hyoid bone, it is going to be elevated, as we do in the process of the, what you call it, swallowing. So anterior belly is supplied by the nerve to the mylohyoid, and posterior belly is derived from these. Their embryological derivation is both heads from different arches, so that's why they have got different nerve supply. Now this is inferior view of the inferior view. You are looking at the same structure from inferior aspect, as you are looking at beneath someone's chin. This is anterior belly of digastric muscle, and here we have got digastric fossa, and this intermediate tendon being looped by the pretracheal layer of deep cervical fascia and being anchored to the hyoid bone, whereas this is posterior belly. And in the background, you can see mylohyoid muscle, mylohyoid muscle, mylohyoid muscle, mylohyoid muscle, because it is originating from the mylohyoid line on the inferior aspect of the body of the mandible, and other edge is attached to the hyoid bone. So look at this is median raphe, white line spanning between the symphysis manti and hyoid bone. Oblique fibers of mylohyoid muscle, they attach on from both sides. As I said, these are mirror images attached onto this median raphe, and finally this muscle attached into the hyoid bone. So whenever this muscle contracts, which I'm going to show you, this is internal aspect of the mandible. You have removed tongue, and this is you are looking at the floor of the mouth from the oral aspect. This is mylohyoid muscle in the background, mylohyoid line, and these are geniohyoid muscle because genial tubercles are present here. To superior, to inferior. To superior genial tubercles give origin to the genioglossus muscle, which attach on one end to the superior genial tubercle and to the tongue, and which has been removed, and you can look at the geniohyoid muscle. Muscle, two strap-like muscles which are present lying on the top of the mylohyoid muscle, and they are strap-like, they coming backwards and attached to the hyoid bone, and these are inferior genial tubercles. And beneath these hyoid bones we have got our white line or median raphe. Now imagine these oblique muscle fibers, when they will contract, as a result they will pull the hyoid bone anteriorly and upwardly, forward and upward. As a result, this floor of the mouth is going to shorten. Okay, and beside that, here we have got another muscle which is called stylohyoid. This is styloid process. It is an elongated projection at the base of the skull, and muscle is attached on this styloid process, and on other end it is attached onto the hyoid bone. So that's why this muscle is called stylohyoid muscle, and this digastric muscle is passing in its intermediate tendon is passing by piercing this muscle. So this intermediate tendon basically moved forward and backward within this loop and from the muscle fibers of this stylohyoid muscle as well. So imagine this, when this stylohyoid muscle, it will contract, it's going to pull the hyoid bone upward and backwards. As a result, floor of the mouth is going to be elongated. So this was it was important to understand the concept of these muscles before going into the details of the triangles, which I would be definitely doing in my next video, because I don't want to make my video too long, which would be very difficult to watch. Thank you very much, and wait for my next video.